So let's go ahead and get started. I would like to welcome everyone to the capital raising strategy session. Um, thank you for coming. There will be more coming in as we proceed. For right now, today we have a guest, and I would like to take this time to introduce the guest. So I am thrilled to introduce our guest speaker. His name is Raj Kumar.
You can call me Raj. It's okay. Raj Kumar
Okay,
is
all right.
fine.
So I was going to make an attempt, but thank you. Um, so uh, um, um, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Raj. Who is Raj? Raj is an accomplished oncologist, real estate investor, and entrepreneur. Raj is the founder and manager of REIDOC REDOC Capital LLC, where he has over 7 years of experience in multifamily syndications, investing in more than 2,000 apartment units with advanced degrees from the University of Southern California and the University of Massachusetts. Raj combines his medical background and business acumen to help real estate investors automate their capital raising efforts through his innovative venture, Redoc Agency. Please, let's join me in welcoming Raj to the Capital Raise Strategy session. Thank you for coming, Raj. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Daryl, for having me. I'm going to share my screen, if that is okay.
Sure.
It is disable participant screen sharing, so if you could
Oh, hold
give
on
me
one second.
permission.
All right. Give me, oh, I hit the wrong button. I got to hit screen share. Here we go. Uh, oh, there we are. All right. Host.
Okay, now I can.
Now you
Uh,
can?
yes.
Okay.
Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I can see it. So
Okay.
before we get into your presentation, I just read a brief summary of your background. Please take the time and go a little more in depth and tell us about you.
Sure. So I'm going to have a slide in there, but
Okay.
what you covered is pretty much what my background is. But I can go into it a little bit more. Thanks everyone for having me today. So I'm going to talk about how to raise capital while you sleep. So the reason I put that topic is you're going to see. So as Daryl said, I'm a full-time oncologist, pediatric oncologist. I have two companies. I have of course, two children I had to take care of. My wife is a ICU doc, so she's busy as well. So I was forced to develop systems for myself so that I can use my time efficiently. So I'm going to just give an example of what I do, right? So for you guys to see, and hopefully some of that information will be helpful for you. So I assume a lot of you are like active syndicators, real estate investors, raising capital, etc. But how many of you feel like the person in this photograph? Right? So he's trying to propose to this lady, and then she's running away, right? So that's when you raise capital, sometimes that's how you feel, right? Hey, I have this great product, come and invest, but you feel like you're running after investors, and why are they not understanding that this is a great investment? So how do you go from raising capital like this to like this? They say, shut up and get my money, right? So I'm going to show you some strategies what you can use to do that. So this is what we're going to cover today. So we're going to cover, hey, what is the secret formula to raising capital? And then how do you identify your customer avatar? And how do you map your customer journey? And how do you take them through that journey? And then, of course, I'm going to show our system, which is Redoc CRM, a very short demo of the system. So who is this for? So this talk is for active real estate syndicators, whether you're trying to raise your first million or you're trying to raise your first 10 million. And of course, the essential quality is you need to have a desire to succeed, right? Of course, we all know capital raising is not easy. It's not like overnight you can become a great capital raiser. There are two goals for me in this webinar. the first goal is to convince you to say, hey, the only way to exponentially grow your business, syndication business, is through automation. All right, so that's my first goal. And the second goal is, hey, the best way to do, of course, is through using our system, which is Redox CRM. So I set up a lofty goal. So let's see if I succeed in those two goals. So Darren already went through it. So this is my background. I'm a physician. I'm an entrepreneur or wannabe entrepreneur, you can call. I'm a tech enthusiast. I don't say I'm a technically very good, but I'm a tech enthusiast. I'm both passive and active investor. I've been investing since 2017. And I founded Redox Capital about 2.5 years ago, mainly to help doctors invest in syndications. And then I'm also founder of the Redox CRM, which I'm going to talk about today. Most importantly, I'm an introvert. I don't like talking to people. I don't like going and asking people for money, right? Before I got into it, I never had put any social media post. I don't like to post about myself. I don't like to take a picture of myself and put it in Facebook. I hated all those things, right? But when you do a real estate syndication, you don't have a choice. You have to, unfortunately, do the things you don't like. See the next slide when it advances. Okay. So before you and I get started, I want to ask you guys one question, right? So what is your why? Like, why are you doing what you're doing right now, right? So why are you doing real estate syndication or a business, which is not very easy to do? So let me know in the comments below what your why is while I tell you my background, what my why is, right? So I would be very interested to know what your guys' why is, why you're doing this. So as I said, I'm a physician. I was very happy. I'm a researcher, basically. I publish a lot of papers, do cancer research, related research. But when I turned 40, that's when I realized, okay, I've been an attending physician for 10 years. I rarely spend any money. I save all the money I make, but I was still very distant from my retirement. So that's when I said, okay, I need to diversify. I need to accelerate my retirement. So I started as a passive investor in real estate. And of course, the second reason I also wanted to show my children that there is something world outside of medicine. All my friends are physicians. So the only thing they're exposed to is all physicians. And then they say, I want to become a doctor, right? But you're in America, you can do whatever you want. So I want them to have experiences or opportunities outside of medicine as well. So that's the other reason I do what I do. Right. Let me see, there's a couple of people who posted some in the chat. One said simply want a bigger life, generational wealth, of course, time freedom, great. That's another common theme, right? You want time, space, like geographical freedom, health freedom, all those things can happen when you are an entrepreneur or real estate investor. Great answers. So Alicia says you should want to also impact the community. That's a great answer as well, and great why to do. So this is how I got started. So I already told you I got started as a passive investor, wanted to become an active person. So initially, when I first started it, I actually spoke to, if I remember, more than 100 people in 3 months. Like every day I wanted to speak to a different person. Hey, how are you doing it? What are you doing? I spoke to storage guys, multifamily guys, entrepreneurs, etc. Before I actually wanted to jump in. Of course, I listened to all their podcasts, all the Bigger Pocket podcast, like Joe Fallis podcast, everything, read the book, joined a couple of masterminds. So that's how I got started. But everywhere, this is what you get taught when you go to this masterminds. At least that's what I was taught is, hey, step is go and find a great deal. Broker relationships, underwrite, find a great deal. Second is make sure the numbers work. And then the last one is, after all these things, go network and raise capital, right? So this is what you generally, the step you think about. That's kind of like saying, hey, if you find a very good deal, the money is going to follow, the money is going to come. So the first step is always find a good deal. The reality is, even if you have a great deal, often money doesn't follow, right? Then you risk it, you put your earnest capital, you signed up, your money is at risk, but now you're under stress that you need to raise the capital and close this deal. So this is what happened for me. So my own story, think about the first deal you guys did yourself. For me, the first deal I did was, okay, I got an Excel file, wrote down all the people I know, the people I went to residency with, my friends. My friend circle was pretty small. Like I got like 20, 25 people on the list. and then started calling them, right? Say, hey, I have a great deal. This is what I'm doing, real estate. Come to this webinar. Use my Gmail account, send them emails, started texting them, started calling them. So each person required like 3-4 calls before they respond. Then 3-4 calls to make sure they come to the webinar. Then after the webinar, 3-4 calls, emails, etc. But it was very, very exhausting work I had to do to make all this. Even people who say, hey, I'm very interested, I'm going to invest. You often end up calling them multiple times before they'll sign the PPM. And then they sign the PPM, you call like multiple times to transfer the fund, even though those who are committed. So this was like really, really exhausting. And I raised about $1.5 million for my first deal. But after that, now I want to do more deals, right? Now what? My first deal, I exhausted my network, right? All my friends, they put $50,000, $100,000, one of them put $200,000. But I cannot go back to them immediately for the next deal, right? They are exhausted. They don't have unlimited amount of money. So what am I going to do now for my next deal? Right? Then you get stuck. So this happens to almost everyone. The first deal, you're enthusiastic, you do all the work. But then how do you sustain your company? How do you grow the company? Right? So this was my question. So how can some people raise millions of dollars in days, sometimes even hours, right? As soon as they open the deal, they can raise all the money they need, while others struggle to get any interest. So probably most of you know this guy, Tony Robbins. He says, hey, if you want to be successful, find someone who has achieved the results you want and copy what they do, and then you'll achieve the same results, right? It sounds really good. Okay, let's go and copy. So then I looked at all the guys who are successful real estate syndicators. There are two things in common. One, they had a lot of money and they had a big team, which I didn't have, right? So at least when you start out, you cannot afford to spend a lot of money, or you cannot afford to hire a lot of people. So it's not very easy to emulate what they are doing, the flashy things, videos, the flashy other stuff they are doing. Then the next step is you go to all these meetups, real estate meetups. Someone says, hey, you should use ActiveCampaign. It's really good. You're missing out. I'm going to set up like $6,000, pay me. I'm going to set up ActiveCampaign for you. Then others say, hey, you need to use Calendly. It looks very professional. Trello, or use this project management software, use a WordPress site. So you go and people tell you all this stuff, and then you start going and getting all this stuff. And then say, hey, I need to get started. I want to do it right. And then this is how I ended up doing. I ended up spending a lot of money on everything, and then got confused. Okay, you spent so much time learning this specific tool, but what do I do now? What do I do, right? So that's the confusion I had. And then you always almost wish that, hey, can there be like one tool instead of having all these multiple logins, the tools which don't talk to each other, where I can use it and then just get it ready-made for me, and then I can go and raise capital. Because the value of your time is not in using the tools. The value of time is finding investors and raising capital, right? But often what happens is we end up spending more time on the tool rather than the core function of your business, which is raising capital. So it took me almost 2 years trying different tools, and then I found a tool which was good for capital raising, and I developed my automations, everything in that tool. That's what I'm going to show you how I do it, right? Even before the tool, showing this tool, I want to share with you the secret formula for raising capital. So are you guys ready? So it's like an anticlimax, not the tool. The secret formula for raising capital is not a tool or software. It's developing sustained relationships with your customer avatar, qualified investors, right? So that's what is going to get you the investment. But how do you find these qualified investors? Even if you want to have a relationship, you need to find those investors first before you can develop those relationships, talk to them, convince them, etc. So I'm going to tell you about 3 secrets I think you need to know to raise capital. Okay. The first secret is identify your ideal customer avatar. Right? So that's the number 1 step you need to do before you raise capital. Second, grow your list on autopilot. So I'm going to explain all of these things. And then the third secret is automation and follow, what you call as automation and follow-up domination. Right? So we're going to go through these 3 secrets. uh, in brief detail. Okay. Number one is identify your ideal customer avatar. So the number one step is you need to identify who you want to serve, right? Who is your ideal customer? Every message, once you identify who your ideal customer is, then every message you put out, social media, email, Facebook post, whatever it is, or meetups, has to be geared towards this ideal customer, right? The riches are in the niches, right? So you have to niche down to this ideal customer. So you have to identify who that is. But there are a couple of things you need to do to identify the thing. So first one is you may ask, oh, I don't know who my ideal customer is. How do I pick? I don't want to miss doctors. I don't want to miss lawyers. I don't want to miss the businessman. I don't want to niche down. The first step I would say is if you already raise capital, just look at your list and say, hey, what is the common characteristics of the people in the list? That's probably your ideal customer. But you have to define your ideal customer based on two factors. One is demographics, which is like age, sex, income, education, nationality, religion, ethnicity, etc. So that's demographics, but a lot of people leave out the second important thing, which is psychographics, right? You have to identify your avatars, what is their pain points, right? What do they care about? What do they do to get pleasure? What do they do to avoid pain? So you have to define all those things first, then you can cater the message to that, whatever you identified. So I'm just going to show you one example, which is, this is my customer avatar. It's actually longer description, but I put it as a short for this presentation. So my customer avatar, the ideal customer is called as Dr. Dad. So his name is Dr. Dad. So is a male physician between 40 and 50 years of age with 2 school-age children, earning at least $300,000 per year. He's worried about student debt. He's worried about high taxes. Those are the pain points. Had a late start to retirement because he was in med school for a long time. And also feeling burnt out because of corporate medicine. There's a lot of pressure for him to see more patients to get more business. And he cannot stop doing it, even if he wants to, because he has all these obligations, children, college debt, retirement, etc. And he's also frustrated with his investments in stock market. And he's typically a 90s movie and sitcom fan, right? So it's more detailed than that, but you can see the details. So when I send an email out, a newsletter, a social media post, I'm thinking about what's appealing to this Dr. Dad, right? That's what I'm doing. It's okay if you to focus on this person, you still get other investors, but this is the only person I'm concentrating on. So secret number 2 is grow your list on autopilot. So why do you need a list, right? Why do you need a list of potential investors? That can be the difference between raising money in a few hours or never raising any money, right? So let's give an example. Say if you have 100 people on your list, potential investors, and say each deal you have a 4% conversion rate, right? So if you do a deal, then you're going to get 4 investors for that deal. If you have 1,000 people on the list, and if you have 4% conversion rate, for that deal, you'll have 40 investors. So you can obviously see the bigger the list, the better your chances are that you'll raise money for that specific deal. So that's why you need to have you always have to work on building your list, building the list of potential investors. And how do you do that? Right? How do you go and get new investors, right? So most of you have gone to Costco, I assume, and you see this very nice lady who's giving you free samples. Have you ever wondered why are they giving out so much food for free? Right? Oh my God. And a lot of people you see, including myself, I eat all those things, but rarely buy. Right? So why are they giving? Are they not losing money for it? But this is the concept of giving value upfront, right? They make enough money when they give this free sample out. So you have to use the same principle. We call it as lead magnets. So you have seen lead magnets, right? So this is something which addresses the pain point of your niche ideal customer, and then you give it away for free upfront in exchange for them giving you the email address and phone number. So that's how you grow your list, is give something of value to the people so that they feel comfortable giving out the email address. If you just ask them for email address and phone number, most people are going to say no. They're not comfortable giving out. But as soon as they see something of value, which addresses their pain point, they're very willing to give up their email address and phone number. So the next thing you need to know is, say you identified who, you have a very good value to give them, but where do these people hang out, right? You have to find out where are they going to find pleasure, and and the other thing you need to do is where are they in the investing journey? So you're going to cater your message based on that. I'm going to show you an example of that. When I say where, hey, are these people hanging out on Facebook? Are they hanging out on LinkedIn? Are they hanging out in your local club or golf course? So you need to identify where you can find these investors so that you can target your strategy based on that. So I'm going to show you examples of what right? So this is, I have multiple lead magnets depending on what stage of the journey my ideal customer, Dr. Dad, is, right? So if he hasn't invested in real estate before, he's just thinking about it. So my lead magnet is Passive Real Estate Investing, a guide for doctors. That's an ebook. Say he's actually actively looking to invest in syndications, right? I have another lead magnet for that stage of their journey, where it says the ultimate guide to real estate syndication for doctors, right? And then they're actually going to invest in syndications already, or they're very, very warmly, they're going to invest in syndications tomorrow. Then I have this lead, hey, before you invest, make sure you download my passive ultimate checklist for investing in syndications. Right? So I'm trying to capture my ideal customer in multiple stages of their journey, and I want to capture all of them. I also have people who have already invested that have something called the course called Doctor Syndications course. So they can come to that course and then learn about it. So these are different lead magnets I'm using to get people into my system. And then once you get them into the system, then is a thing for automation and follow-up domination, right? So when I say automation and follow-up domination, no one is going to invest with you until you overcome their skepticism. They're going to say, who are you? Why do I have to give you $50,000, $100,000, right? That's the first question people are going to ask when you say, hey, invest with me. So how do you build trust? You have to build always trust first and overcome skepticism before they are going to give you money. And probably most of you are aware of this marketing rule of 7. This has been around since 1940s, right? It takes an average of 7 interactions with your brand before your purchase is made. So most people will not say, hey, just talk to you, meet you somewhere. They're not going to invest with you. They need to see you at least 7 times. In the age of social media, it's actually like 15 times, 20 times. 7 times is not enough because they're bombarded with different messages all the time. So you have to be in front of your ideal customer. Your message needs to go to them at least like 15, 20 times before they're going to invest, right? How are you going to do that? You're not going to be calling them 15 times, or you're not going to send them emails 15 times. So how do you do that without spending a lot of time and money? So one of the ways we do that, which probably most of you are aware of, is we use what it calls a drip campaign. As soon as the customer comes into your system, the next day, we wait for 1 day, the next day they get an email saying, hey, my name is Raj. Thanks for downloading my ebook. This is my story, right? And 2 days later, they get another email saying, hey, this is why I got this. I was 40 years old. This is my pain point. This is why I got into real estate investing. And then third email will be some education about real estate investing. And then the fourth email will be join my investment club or book a phone call. So then we gradually start increasing call to action. The ultimate aim of this drip campaign is to make them book a phone call with you, right? But none of these is done manually. Everything is automated. So no one is sitting there saying, today I have to send the email number 1, tomorrow I have to send email number 2 kind of thing. So everything automatically happens on the background. So I also talked about mapping your customer journey. So this is how I think about when I think about a customer journey, right? First thing is we talked about how they get into your system. So it could be either you're using social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, or you're meeting them in conferences, meetings, whatever way you're at. But once they come into the system, so I also wanted to show you what I do to get people into the system and where I hang out before I go to the next step. So my primary thing, this is my Facebook group. It's a closed group for doctors. It's a safe space for them to come and talk about real estate. So it's called REA Doctors. I also have a YouTube channel. where I put things. So you have to differentiate between things like Facebook and LinkedIn and things like YouTube and blogs, right? So one of them is acute. It exposes your customers. Like if you put a post in Facebook, it's going to show the post to your ideal customer only for 24 hours. Then it's going to disappear. Facebook, it doesn't care after 24 hours what you put, right? So it's like acute. You have to do Facebook every day. You have to come up with new things. Of course, you can repeat the same post again, and only about 7% of your connections will ever see the post. So you spend 1 day, 2 day to get an ideal post. It's going to be seen by only 7% of your contacts, right? The other aspect is evergreen content. Things like YouTube and blogs, they are evergreen content. People may discover it 2 years, 3 years down the line, and then contact you and come into your funnel. So you have to have a mixture of both. So not only Facebook, LinkedIn, you have to have something like YouTube, videos, and blog posts as well. So both needs to be there in your strategy. So that's why I have a YouTube channel. Of course, this is my LinkedIn profile. I also have, I think this is my Twitter, TikTok, right? I also have stuff there, but I'm not actively engaging there. So I'm just going to, whatever post I create for YouTube, it goes everywhere. Whatever post I create for Facebook, it goes everywhere. So I'm going to show you how I do it in a minute. And then I also have a podcast. Again, podcast is an example of evergreen content. Once you do the podcast, you can generate like 10 different videos from the podcast. That's what I do. I record a podcast, but generate 10 different videos, and it keeps going in my social media accounts all the time. Right. So this is the first demo. I'm going to show you a quick demo. Let me come out of this and then show you a different screen. Does have any questions in the meantime while I'm pulling up?
Anyone have any questions? All right.
Okay. So you should be able to see a different screen right now. So this is our system. Are you guys able to see a screen which says read up
Yes.
on top?
Yes.
So this is my own company's account, right? So this is how I do social media marketing. So you can see I put like 1,431 posts here, right? So it has all my social media connected here. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, 2 profiles. This is Twitter and TikTok, right? So if we want to put a new post, for example, I'll just click on this new post to create a new post. And then when it comes, I basically go and select the social media accounts I want to put the post in. Maybe I want to put one in Facebook and Instagram, for example. So I selected both of them. So I can type the post I want. Like if you have an idea, you can put it in. Often I don't have a lot of ideas because it's too much to come up with new ideas. So I use AI. So I go to AI. So we have AI system built into this. This is ChatGPT basically. And then say I'm a multifamily person, right? So I want to talk about multifamily versus single family. So I'm going to show you what I do. Multifamily versus single family. And then say talk about the advantages of multifamily compared to single family, right? So I've given the AI the instructions. I'm going to say keywords as multifamily, single family, and then real estate. And then I'm going to select a writing tone. Maybe I always use professional. You can use any writing tone you want. And the length of the content, you can select, I usually select medium. And then you can also select how many variations you want the AI to give you. So I'm going to say 3, and then click generate. So now the AI is looking at your ChatGPT basically is looking at your instructions, and then it's going to generate posts for you. Hopefully quicker. Sometimes ChatGPT is down. Let's see. Okay, so it generated 3 variations for me. So I'm going to go and look at the variations. It says discover the smart choice in real estate investment. Okay, this looks good. Content variation 2 looks good. 3 looks good. Okay. So let me say I like number one, right? I'm going to say copy. So it's the whole post is copied here. Then I can edit it if I want to. I don't like something, I can edit it, and then I'm going to say continue. So now my post is made, right? It's going to show you how it's going to look in Facebook, how it's going to look in Instagram. But the post is not complete without a picture, usually, because that's what generates attention. So I can actually add a picture. I can use the AI to create a picture, but I don't like AI pictures. I'm just going to upload from the internet, right? So we have this integrated into a couple of internet sites. The one I like is Unsplash. So let's go there and then type apartment and then see what happens. So I look at all these pictures. Maybe I like this one. I just double click on it. So that gets loaded into that. So now my entire post is ready, right? If I click post now, it's going to post in both Facebook and Instagram, my accounts. I normally don't do that. I basically schedule it to 8 o'clock in the morning. So I can go and schedule this post and then say, hey, tomorrow. Or if I want to schedule it next year, I can still do it. April 2025, 16th, I want this post to go out, right? So I can schedule anytime I want. So I usually schedule all my next 2 years, my Christmas, New Year, Thanksgiving, all those posts, July 4th, every post is already scheduled. So I don't have to worry about it. It's branded to my brand, company brand. Then it's done, right? You can schedule it. You can also make it as a recurring post. For example, you can say schedule recurring posts for my ebook, right? I put one post every month for the next 5 years. I've scheduled already. So that's my lead magnet. It's going to tell me about my ebook. So I don't have to remember putting my lead magnet into the social media thing. So it's all about efficiency and saving time. So I'm going to show you my own. So if I open my calendar, you can see all the posts I scheduled already. So for example, every Monday, I put Monday motivation post, right? So that's scheduled for rest of the year. This is May. If you see June, I still have Monday motivation post, and these are my lead magnet post. So this is just an example of how to make it more efficient and then make sure you have, because key with social media is consistency. You need to put up some post every day, every week. If you give a break, then it becomes useless. Okay. So I see some comments here. Let me see if they have a question.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions there.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, please.
So let's go with the first one here by Jim. He said, Raj, you are using GHL. Did you try something else before, and what is your feedback?
So I used to use ActiveCampaign before on Calendly and stuff. The problem with ActiveCampaign was, one, the cost goes up when your number of contacts go up. Number two is the SMS integration was not robust, right? They still use Twilio, but for the integration of SMS and stuff, because SMS is very, very important. I'm going to show you in a minute why SMS marketing is important. So that wasn't robust. So this one combines everything. Plus you have the Calendly function in there, social media posting. I put my forms in there, surveys. My website is hosted in there. So everything is integrated in one place. So I don't have to worry about going through these multiple different systems.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Jim asked, did you hire someone to teach you GHL, or was it OJT and DIY?
DIY, basically YouTube. I spent like more than 1,000 hours watching videos on YouTube, learning about the system. Plus, I like playing with it. So right. I learned a lot of the things by developing. So I developed the whole automation for myself. And then I like doing different things to see what happens. I usually try it on my own account. Then I give it to my customers. I have about 60 customers who use it. So I try all the strategies and then load that stuff into their account.
That's fantastic.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Alicia.
So I know many investors, they believe that they have to have it all together before they can even start. Is that your same belief, or did you create the framework, jump into the sea to just figure it out and then work the kinks out as you go?
I always work the kinks out as you go. I don't believe in perfection. I don't have the time to become perfect. So I always jump in and then figure it out later. If I think about starting a YouTube channel, this is how happened. I need to start a YouTube channel, right? Overnight, I recorded 25 videos and then put it in the next day. I'm very impatient. I cannot wait for months and months of planning. So if I think about something, I just jump in. If it's not perfect, that's okay.
Yep. I've learned that over these last few years. With your videos, are you using a specific system yourself, or are you using a VA for that?
So this is what I do. I have a very good VA, which I train myself. But anything I ask my VA to do, I learn first so that I can, and then I develop an SOP and give it to the VA. For example, the video editing, I know all the tools out there. So I use Descript and CapCut. Those are my favorite tools, but I know them inside out. And then I give my VA, hey, this is how you do it. And I make a video and she watches it, how to do it. And then she can do the editing herself.
Could you repeat those two favorite tools?
That's so Descript is an AI tool, Descript. I recommend everyone to try it. It's very, very easy. It's like a text-based video editing. All my podcast I edit with Descript. Basically, it transcribes the entire video, and then the transcription, you delete the sentence, or then the video gets edited.
So let's drop those in the chat. That's valuable information that we seldom get from folks. What systems are you using? And when we say systems, basically you're finding a tool to help you save time and money. So that's fantastic.
Just $15 a month. And Alicia, that's the right spelling, Descript. Actually, OpenAI invested $50 million in Descript last year. So it's it's going to be there forever. The other one is CapCut, CapCut. That's from ByteDance, the TikTok company. It's a free tool and it's amazing tool. And I generally don't pay for a lot of stuff. CapCut is free and it's amazing. So that's the other tool I use to edit videos. If the video doesn't have words, just like something I need to edit, I use CapCut.
AI has just come out, well, ChatGPT has just come out with 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see using that with what you're doing to incorporate that? Because I'm trying to figure out how I can incorporate that with what I'm doing.
So I'm very interested in using AI chatbots. Chatbot where they come and a customer gives you a message, sends you a text message. So I don't want to waste my time doing it. I want to use a chatbot to make them book appointments. Right now, I've tested multiple things. They're not perfect. When you're raising $50,000 or $100,000 from customers, you don't want imperfection there. You don't want it to send some weird message. Then it's going to break their trust. So even though I know how to use it, I'm not using it right now. Because plus it's not a high contact business, what we are in. So if you have 100 customers, they're not messaging you every day. So I think you can make time to reply to them back. The way I want to use it is any new lead who comes in, I want to use the chatbot to qualify them and make them book a call with me, an appointment with me. Right now, the tools are not perfect. So I think 4.0 is more, if you see, you can actually use voice calling.
Yeah.
And you can also, the SMS messages is going to be more reliable, I think. I haven't tested it. I have the 4.0 access to my ChatGPT. I haven't had time to test it yet. So that's what I'm excited about with the 4.0.
Yeah, I've been testing it myself, see how I can incorporate it. It seems like they're still working on it and everything too. So with what you're doing, the systems, I'm gonna tell you a lot of the things that you have mentioned, I haven't heard of. Okay, some of the free tools. Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
I know for a fact that Raj still has a lot more valuable information to cover. And so I'd like to let him get through his entire presentation. So we'll wait for Raj to finish up before we ask any more questions.
Sounds good.
Thank you. So yeah, it's going to be another 10 minutes, I think. Let me first share my screen. Are you guys still seeing my screen or no?
No.
Okay, let me share my screen. to get the right one. I should have closed all my windows because they're all open now. I think we are good to go. So, okay, let me know if you guys can see a screen which says social media planner.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, great. So that's one of the demos I want to show you. So going back to the investor journey, right? So I always think about, okay, how to move the investor from lead to investor. So the next step often is you introduce your company to them. What are they going to do? They're going to go and Google you first. Right? Who is this Rita Capital LLC? Is he for real? What is he talking about? So it's very important to have a very professional website. But at the same time, a lot of my avatar, they're working during the day. They're going to go into my website like 11 o'clock at night. After the kids go to sleep, that's when they're Googling. Okay, this guy talked to me. Let me see who he is. And then they're going to say, okay, this website is really good. I'm going to invest with this guy. And then they go to sleep. After that, they're never going to think about it. They get busy, right? Their life, as anyone, you get very busy. It's very rarely you can go and follow up. So it's very important for me to capture the information when they come into my website. So how do you do that? One of the things we already talked about is lead magnet. You want to put your lead magnet prominent. If you go to my website, it's ritacapital.com. The lead magnet is very prominent in the web first page, so that they give the information, they download the lead magnet. That's one way to capture it. The other way to capture it is I have what I call as a web chat in there, so people can put the information in. So if anyone wants to test it, I'm going to put it in the chat, and then you can actually go and test the web chat stuff. I'm just going to put my agency account, Doc Agency. So click on that one if you're interested, and then go to the website, and then you'll on the right-hand side of the website, there's going to be a lady who pops up. I think it's now I changed it to my logo saying, hey, how can I help you? Right? So don't type any questions there and see what happens. Someone who said Clipchamp, I use Clipchamp. I used to use Clipchamp too. What they started doing it is they made most of the features, good features, as paid features. So then I got frustrated and then came out of Clipchamp. But otherwise, Clipchamp is really good as well. Okay. So yeah, if anyone is there, you can test it. And yeah, I already got a message from someone. Good. So whenever they message me, it comes to my app on my phone. Not only does that, it actually stores the information in the CRM directly. So I'm capturing that information. They're automatically added to my system. They're automatically added as a lead, and they're going to be followed up immediately. So anyone who comes to your website, you want to capture the information. So that's the key. Then what happens is once I have the website thing, I do the nurture campaign or drip campaign I talked to you about. They get like emails every 2-3 days. First is I want them to join my investment club. I want it to feel like that's very exclusive to them. And then ultimately, I want them to book a phone call with me, right? Each time point, you're going to lose some customers, right? Not everyone who comes to your website gives the information is going to book a phone call with you. But our aim is to increase the conversion rate. If 20% book a phone call, that's a pretty good conversion rate. So that's what you're trying to do by them. But that's not enough, right? When they call you, you may not have a deal at the time. And most of the time, you don't want to present a deal at the first phone call. It usually doesn't go well. So you want to have a general conversation, identify what their deal, like what is the investment criteria, and then a week later, 2 weeks later, say, hey, this fits your investment criteria, right? But when you don't have a deal, this is where the follow-up domination comes in. You still want to be on top of their mind, right? They go to TikTok, they go to Twitter, they go to whatever place they hang out, they need to see messages from you. That's why consistency of posting in social media comes. That's what we call as follow-up domination. You still have to send them text messages from time to time, or newsletter, or whatever it is. So you need to be on top of their mind so that when they actually have an investment, then they're going to invest immediately, right? So that's how I think about my own customers, and then map them out and say how I can intervene in each step of the way so that I can push them to the next. Right. So this is what we covered, so, right? So you have to identify who your ideal customer is, where they hang out, what is the pain point, and then you have to identify how to overcome their skepticism and build trust. So if you do that, then you're going to raise capital. So what do you need to do? So all the things I showed you, right? So I automate almost all the steps, except for the phone call. Everything else is automated because I don't have time to sit down and contact thousands of people, send text messages, emails, etc. So this is how I think about infrastructure you need for capital raising. So we talked about you need a website, right? You need a website builder. It could be WordPress, Wix. Don't use Wix if you're using it's a bad platform. But WordPress or other platforms, you need a host for the website. You need to track whoever comes into the website, whoever clicks on the page, those kinds of things. Then you also need what I call as a funnel. The basic thing about funnel is funnel has one purpose, right? It could be capturing the email address. It could be make them invest in your property, right? So every deal I have, I create a funnel or a landing page where it has the sign up form, soft commit form, webinar registration, etc. Right? You need to have a lot of forms, different forms for people to fill in. And of course, you need to have a very good booking calendar. Like you use Calendly, but our GHL, our system we developed based on GHL comes with multiple calendars you can have at the same time. Then once they come in, you want to organize your leads. You want to tag them. Hey, this is a doctor. This is a 506C guy. He's a 506B guy. This guy is interested in self-storage. This guy is interested in whatever, industrial. So you want to tag them, organize them, so that next time you can have a deal, you can target the people who are actually likely to invest. And you also want to track them through what you call as a pipeline. So the picture I showed you, you need to have, hey, who has downloaded the ebook? Who has joined the investment club? Who has booked a phone call with me? Who has invested with me? So you need to have one screen where you can capture all those people in one place. That's what we call a sales pipeline. Of course, you need to have the ability to build automations. And the last thing I always say is SMS marketing, right? So the industry standard is if you have very good email, only 30% of people open it, right? So that's it. So if you consider you have a deal and you're sending to 100 people, if only 30 people open it, you already lost 70 potential investors. So how do you increase the open rate? My open rate is typically between 60 and 70%. So what I do is, if one day I don't send it often, but if I send a deal email, which I did this morning, I sent a deal email. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when people are trying to get out of work, I'm going to send an SMS message saying, hey, by the way, did you check out this new great deal? Whatever the IRR is, it's in Houston. Please check your email for details, right? That's going to increase the open rate from a deal email. So it is very important to pair both email marketing with SMS marketing at the same time so that the open rate goes up, right? So this is the infrastructure you need. Probably most of you already know it, but I just wanted to show you in one screen what you need to raise capital, right? Any questions on that?
So inside Go High Level, Raj, there's the LC lead generator, LC phone, all these things are LC, which I'm assuming that is a substitute for what they're using in the background. So LC phone is actually a Twilio phone that's being managed by Go High Level. Is that correct?
Yes. So they try to make it easier for you. They also make money out of it because they're reselling it, but also it's completely integrated. So you don't have to go and create a Twilio account. The email they're using is Mailgun, but they're calling it LC email. So you don't have to go to Mailgun and pay for it, right? So it's basically integration. And so I use LC for everything. It has been working well for me.
Yeah. So I love what you said earlier, and I'll let you continue because I don't want to interrupt this because this is extremely valuable information. But Steve had a good point. He connected with you on LinkedIn, and you already had an automation that responded to him. So I love that. Yeah, go ahead and continue.
Okay. So the next thing, I think that's basically the summary. So we looked at 3 secrets. One is identify your ideal customer avatar. Number 2 is grow your list on autopilot. Number 3 is automation and follow-up domination, right? So now the question for you is, I explained all those things. There are 18 people on here. How many of you feel like this, guys? Like you're a little bit excited. Okay, I have this information. At the same time, you're saying, oh my God, I have to do all these things. Oh my God, how am I going to accomplish that? So anyone thinking like that right now, you can let me know in the comment, or you can call me as well. Sonia says that's my picture. Believe me, I have felt like this multiple times in my life, so I know the feeling. Yeah. So this is what, of course, I'm here to offer my services for it, right? So I don't pretend that this is not Go High Level. So any of you can go to Go High Level and get this whole system, but you will not know how to use it. So because I have spent like thousands of hours learning in the system, because it has everything, but it also it's very, very confusing. And it's like WordPress. I don't know if you guys use WordPress. It's like a software, but you have to build the website with it. So this is what we do. Our company helps people build the website, or basically build their whole system and make sure it functions. Because I have tested it myself. And when I'm not going to go through all the slides. There are multiple slides here. But the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all these slides. So if you go to my website, edakagency.com, there are multiple videos of our customers. You can see how a lot of them unsolicited testimonials. You can see what the experience is. So I'm going to go to the last slide because I don't want to waste your time. So this is what we offer, right? So our company is catered to people who are starting out, or people who want to get out of their ActiveCampaign or whatever system it is. So we give access to the CRM with unlimited contacts, right? It comes with unlimited contacts, unlimited everything, basically. You can have websites, unlimited calendars, you can have social planner, you can have unlimited users, everything, right? We also put every automation you need inside for capital raising, right? All the automations developed by us. You don't have to develop automation. You have drip campaign automation, webinar automation, ebook automation. Everything is already put into you the day one. You just have to connect your systems to it. Not only that, we actually give you 50 made-for-you blog posts written for you. You just basically copy and paste on your website, because we want you to have a thought leadership platform, right? So these are written SEO optimized written blog posts. And we give you 25 video scripts, the same video scripts I use to record my own videos about multifamily. And then you can go and edit it. And then we actually show you how to record those videos, which app to use, how to record those videos as well, right? And then we actually give you a lead magnet script for free, right? So we already had pre-built ebooks that doesn't have graphics, but it has text. You have to give it to your graphic designer to build the ebook. But we have like physician, engineer, real estate investor, whatever you need. And then if you don't have your customer avatar, you tell us, we actually write the ebook for free for you, and we'll send it to you, right? Then you basically give it to someone, and then in 5 years and design the whole ebook and put it in your website. So what we basically do is, anyone who's starting right now, we wanted to make it easier for them so that they can spend time on other things than trying to figure this out. We figure it out for you, and then we give you the whole system. In addition to that, we give you 24/7 customer support. There's someone, if you go high level, it's very complicated. It's you get frustrated. So at 12 o'clock at night, when you're trying to send an email, if you have a problem, you want some support, right? That's what we provide, right? And I always ask the question, hey, what is the value of one investor to you? So think about that when you invest in anything. Is, hey, if you get one investor, what is the value? You can say, hey, invaluable, but there is a monetary value, right? For me, any new investor I bring in, I value them at $5,000 at a minimum. If they put $50,000 in my company, I'm going to make at least $5,000 over 5 years. Hopefully everything goes according to it. It starts from $5,000. If they put $1 million, the value is $100,000 for them, right? So before you invest in any system, think about that. What is the value of one investor? If this system helps you get one more investor per month, how much money you would make for your company, right? I'm going to go to the last page. So basically what we do is we also give 30-day guarantee. So if you become a customer within 30 days, you say, hey, this system is not for me, we actually give your money back. But you get to keep all your video scripts, your blog post, Whatever we gave you for free, you just keep ebook, etc. You can keep it for free. So just to remind you, you're going to get all these things. And the other thing we also do is, for the first 10 people who sign up today, we are going to give 2-hour free tech support where we sit down with you and set up the whole system for you. First hour, my tech team will sit down with you and set it up. Second hour, they'll teach you how to use the system. Okay, so if you're interested, you can go to redocagency.com/offer, and then you can sign up right now if you want to. Okay, I'll stop there and I'll take any questions.
All right. We got about 3 more minutes.
So Raj, okay, I see it on the screen there, 1997 today. So many of the folks on the call today are fund managers, and many of them are also fund managers on the Avestor platform. So Raj presented about a month ago, 2 months ago on the Avestor platform. So make sure that you go inside our Slack channel on Avestor and look at Raj's presentation there.
I'll be frank. If you're an Avestor customer, you get it even for cheaper, because Avestor is a big organization. They negotiated a deal with us. So if you're an Avestor customer, you can get it even cheaper than this one. But this is cheaper than our regular price we sell it for.
So if we have, say, 10 folks sign up that are interested, Raj, inside the GOB network, we have roughly 1,500, 2,000 folks that are members of the GOB network. If they're interested in trying to use something like Go High Level, if we can get 10 of them or more, would we be able to get an additional discount?
I'll definitely consider it. Of course, we can communicate separately after this one. If 10 people sign up, I'm happy to give more discount.
Sounds great. Okay, folks. So anyone interested, make sure, I mean, if you want to get started today, I will tell you from years of frustration that I have spent a lot more than $2,000 trying to solve my frustrations and trying to create a website, trying to create a drip campaign, trying to create an SMS campaign. And Raj has all these automations set up. He's going to duplicate what he is successfully doing and give it to you. So if you're interested and want to get started immediately, I encourage you to reach out. If you're still a little bit of trepidation or want a little bit additional discount, then you can go to you can email the board at gobnetwork.com, or if you're not a GOB Network member yet, you can just go to gobnetwork.com and sign up. But we do have a couple of additional questions. I see that Cedric has his hand raised.
Go ahead, Cedric. Cedric, if you're
Cedric, you're on mute.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Had a hard time getting off mute. So it would be 1997 today, and is that's good for a year, or is there a monthly additional?
This is a year's subscription is 1997. If you want to pay month to month, it's like $197 a dollar. We have a month to month subscription as well. It's $197. If you pay for the year, we give you like 2 months discount, so you get a discount if you pay the whole year. But if you don't have
now,
you can get started for $197 a month.
Okay, after the 12 months, then would there still be an additional fee following that?
Yes, it basically renews every 12 months, right? So it will be $19.97 every 12
okay.
months.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Raj, I would like to thank you for joining us today and for presenting capital raising, how to capital raise your systems and what it took for you to get there. So I really like to say thank you. You dropped a lot of information to us. And as for everyone, listen, we here every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be back here next Wednesday with another guest speaker that's going to be presenting capital raising and what you're going to need. All right. So I want to thank you all for coming out. And I'll see you all back here next week here at the Capital Raise Strategy Session. And do not forget about the Commercial Multifamily Masterminds that meets every other Tuesday. All right. So our next scheduled meeting will be on the 28th. All right. Thank you all.